Hello, good evening. Hope everybody is doing wonderful. How are you guys? Let us know how things are. I think it's good. It's wet and rainy here. But that's about it. Semi-warm. Seasonably warm. I guess you can call it that. Hi, Sylvia.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, Sonia. Hi.
Welcome to another exciting
Barbie.
Couture with Kim and Churn. We're going to give everyone a few moments to join, whether you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube. Either way, welcome. For those of you, yesterday we did a project that took 2 lives over our 2 channels, and some of you may not have seen it. So I wanted to show you the final project. So we are super addicted to making sleds, and I got this idea from Teammate, and look at how good it turned out.
Awesome.
Isn't it so freaking cute? Here, we'll go to this other camera so you can see it from above. I love the finished result. It was worth all of the extra time to do the glazing and distressing, but it's so cute. And look at the sparkle. And if you want to get your hands on this, how can they, Sean? How can you get this?
Ooh, I'll tell you how you can get here. Art auction. Sunday. On the 22nd of this Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come to the channel. This one right here.
Yes.
And we are going to do it all the way through, no breaks.
Yes. So if you are interested in winning any of our auction pieces, it will be on this channel. We'll start at noon our time. So 1 Mountain, 2 Central, 3 Eastern. We're going to go through until we get through all items. And then we have a clean slate and we can get going again. So if you're interested in any of those pieces, you want to make sure you're there. And I'll keep reminding you guys, but it's going to be, I think I have close to 50 or more pieces.
Something like that.
Some of them are even created by Jazzy. So they're very,
nice.
very cool. And I always say a part of the proceeds will go to Watts of Love. And what do I mean by this? We do pay back the cost of our supplies and surfaces and stuff like that. And then it will go to Watts of Love. And I can give a total on this Sunday where we're currently for the year. I think last year we were at 12 grand, I think, for Watts of Love. So thank you. All right. So welcome to tonight's live. Probably the number one thing I always hear from people is, why don't you ever show ink? And we do, but not that I forget, but I get so wrapped up with, oh, I can do this on this surface. I always sometimes forget that our Chalkology ink, people are intimidated by. And it's funny because in my opinion, it's almost easier than paste, but I think it's just because it's more permanent. People get a little nervous.
Yeah. So careful with it, and you have the heat set.
We're going to do 3 pillows tonight. I kind of have a vision. We'll see if that works out and stuff. So I'm super excited. But before we dive into that, let's chat about Chalk Couture. Now, I know we chat about this all the time. So I know this is a repeat for some, but there are people out there, and this may shock you, that might not know what Chalk Couture is. And they also don't know what these magical teal things are. And the reason I bring this up is this last weekend, right before we went into lockdown, we went out to dinner with my cousin and her daughter and daughter-in-law. And I was showing them Chalk Couture, and it literally took them playing with the product to realize, oh, it's like a screen. And I was like, yeah, it's a silk screen. They're like, yeah, but it's like a screen. I'm like, a silk screen. And they're like, but like a screen door. And I was like, oh, yeah, technically it's like a screen door. And that kind of made the connection for them. And then just reminded me that not everyone knows what this stuff is. So I'd like to tell you guys what Chalk Couture is. So Chalk Couture is a DIY company that literally makes designs simple, easy peasy in seconds. So literally it is a paste, peel, and reveal, and you get dramatic results every single time. Now, of course, there is 3 ways you can experience Chalk Couture, and we always like to go over all the 3 ways to experience it so you can experience it on your terms. With that said, I will tell you right now is the best time to join as a designer, and when we get to joining as a designer as the 3rd way to experience, I'll tell you why. Now, the first way to experience Chalk Couture is to shop our amazing catalog. So right now we are in the 2 catalog cycle. We are in the autumn winter catalog cycle and the holiday suite. So the autumn winter catalog, which is right here, this has everyday designs. It also has a little bit of some Christmas designs, Halloween, fall, and surfaces. Our holiday suite is just a suite of holiday designs. Now, a lot of these items will retire, so if you want them, you might want to grab them now. Of course, you can use it with our amazing Chalkology ink and paste. You can use it on our surface or other people's surfaces, so it really is that versatile. Now, when you shop from us, you can use our links down below, but it's going to take you to our site. Now, you'll know it's our site because up in the upper right-hand corner here, you'll see my name and my photo here, and it will say Ken's Creations. If it doesn't, you can always hit Change Designer, and just like that, it will change to us. This way, you know you're always on our website, or if you support multiple designers, you know you can always change to support multiple designers. Now, why pay full retail when we have options for you to get Chalk Couture at an amazing price, which is our 2nd and 3rd way to experience Chalk Couture, and that is joining our club or joining as a designer. Now, the club, what is that? Club Couture is an exclusive program that's offered by Chalk Couture, and these are transfers that are only available to designers or Club Couture members. Every month, Club Couture customers get an exclusive base-size chalk transfer, meaning you can only get this design if you're a Club Couture member and or a designer. You get 3 coordinating page singles and step-by-step instructions to complete a beautiful project. Here was November Season's Greetings, one of my favorite. They show you how to complete the project in a YouTube video and also in a PDF. Sorry, Sean just threw a ball very aggressively.
No, actually, it bounced.
Oh, sorry. All right. Sorry, got me off my mojo there. So that is the 2nd way. Now, Club Couture customers get $4.95 flat rate shipping. And if you're a Canadian customer, it's $9.95. Plus, you get amazing promotions. Like this month, there's going to be some amazing Black Friday promotions that are starting next week. I can't wait to share them with you. Plus, as your club designer lead, we will have our own Black Friday specials. And we can only tell what our specials, deals, and discounts are to our Club Couture members. So if you're interested in that, reach out to us. But they are so amazing. I can't even say them here. Super secretive. Super, super secretive. All right, now the last way to experience Chalk Couture is to join as a designer. Now, you can join as a designer for many different reasons. Maybe you want to sell our product. Maybe you want to play and make beautiful pieces of artwork to sell, or just get some chalk therapy, or maybe you want to build a team. No matter how you want to experience it, now is the best time to join our team. And the reason why is this month we're offering something called Spree for free. Now, before I go into it, let me explain to you. Right now, if you were to join Chalk Couture, you would have to hit certain minimums. But the first minimum you would have to achieve of 100 PV wouldn't be until the end of March. So if you join now as a designer, this would be the best time because you're going to start accumulating something we call designer dollars. And we have a new catalog coming out in January, and you will be a designer. You'll get that at designer prices, and you'll already have some designer dollars accumulated, so you could even earn some of those new designs for free. And here's how it works. When you join as a designer, you get our starter kit. It's a retail cost of about $250, and you pay $99. So you've already earned $149 in product. But we have something called designer dollars. And what these are essentially is for every 200 PV, which is our currency, you get $20 free to use on next month's product. We call these designer dollars. And so for every 200, you get 20 designer dollars. But we have something called designer debut. When you're a brand new designer, your first full 3 months, if you achieve certain goals, you are going to earn your designer dollars, but Chalkology is going to match it. So you have the ability to earn up to 480 designer dollars plus your $149 in product earned and the spree for free. You're close to $680 in free product if you were to join in November. So it's amazing. If you have questions on joining, please reach out to us. We have videos down below that covers everything from designer debut, what's in the starter kit, what kind of training, what kind of requirements, all of that is answered down below. Regardless of how you experience Chalkology, we would love to be your designer. All right. You do have to bear with us. We have a little puppy here who, when she gets a ball, she turns into kind of a psychopath that I love dearly, but she is in the way and she just goes crazy. Cece, do you want to say hi to everyone? Come here. See, here's the ball. Come on, get your ball. Get your ball. Come on, get it, Cece.
Come on.
Get up here. We got to go see her brother and sister earlier today, Kylo and Lainey, and they were so cute. Say hi to everyone, Cece. Look at her. What's this, ball? You want a ball? Crazy girl. All right, so let's go ahead and do some ink projects. I am so excited. Ink, in my opinion, is really easy to use. There is just some tips you're gonna want to know and stuff. Oh, no caption showing. Not sure that's a YouTube thing, so it should be able to be turned on. I'm sorry if it's not. Maybe it'll be after the fact. All right, we're gonna be making 3 pillows. Let me first show you all of the designs we're gonna be using, a mixture of them. If you have any questions during this process, let us know. We're going to be using the D-Size Winter Wishes collection, the Cheerful Christmas Tree pattern, Comfort and Joy, and Fa La La La. And we're going to use these on 3 different pillowcases. So I have our Chalkology pillowcase. This is our square pillowcase. These come in packs of 2. I did bleach this, so I just used bleach. Put it in bleach water for an hour, then I washed it and dried it, and we got it to this nice stark bright white. And then we're going to be using this lime green and hot pink pillows. And I know you're going to say, ooh, those aren't very like Christmassy colors, but this is what I love about Christmas is Christmas can be whatever color you want it to be to match your decor. All right, so in addition to all of this, we are also going to be using what color, Sean?
We're going to be using Couture Teal.
Couture Coral.
Or Coral, jeez. Couture Coral. This is Current Jam. Bright White. Meadow. And Pesto. Couture Teal. I don't know why. I think it's just the C word. You just want to say Couture Curl. Or Couture Teal.
Okay, you have to be done.
Take it away from her. You have to take it away from her. Or not.
Okay. You know I can't take it away from her. You have to be the bad guy. I can't do it. All right, so this is all about being prepared. So ink is permanent once it's heat set, but it can be permanent right away. So you want to be prepared. And so a couple tips. Number 1 is you want to have an ink mat. Now, right now our ink mats are out of stock. However, I'm going to tell you, essentially, this can be any kind of sticky surface or even a piece of cardboard because all it's doing is creating a barrier between the front and the back. And it's keeping your pillowcase in place as you use it. So this can be, if you don't have an ink mat, you can definitely use that kind of stuff. Also, you want some sort of tape. Now you can use painter's tape. You can use our placement tape. This is delicate surface tape. And this is what I call your insurance. So when you're chalking, you don't want to go anywhere else on the pillowcase. This will give you kind of that buffer room.
I have a great question.
Okay, give me 1 sec. You also want to have baby wipes ready to go. This is to clean your fingers in between, because if you get ink on your fingers, it will transfer onto your projects. And last but not least, you're going to want the detail tool. This will be to lift up your transfer when you're done, so you don't have to once again touch the ink. So what is the first question?
Question again was, are the stencils different for paste and or ink, or are they the same?
So our stencils, which we call chalk transfers, can be used on pretty much any surface, and they're reusable. So because they're reusable, you can use them for either. You can use them for paste or ink. And you can use them technically right after each other, as long as you clean and dry them. So you can use them for both. So Ellen asks, how do you recommend cleaning ink mats that has ink dried on it? I don't clean my ink mats. I don't. If you look at this ink mat here, it will kind of go down to it. You'll see, I don't know if you can see it, but I have some green here, some pink up here. I don't clean my mats because if you start using a lot of Clorox wipes or water, you're going to remove the adhesive. And I have found it doesn't, to clean it, I just don't do it. Essentially, that's it, yeah. Rose says you can also use Cricut mats. So technically, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier today. You can use pretty much anything in between it. Now, I prefer our ink mats when they are in stock because of the tack. There is definitely a different tack to them. They're a little bit bigger because a Cricut mat is 12 by 12. This is definitely bigger than that. So if you can get your hands on our mats, I definitely recommend it. But I've seen people use Cricut mats, silhouette mats, brother mats. I've seen people use quilt mats. I've even seen people literally put a piece of cardboard in between there. The only reason for the stickiness from a mat is a lot of our designs, because they're silkscreen, when they go on, they can shift. So it is kind of nice to have it stuck down so your surface underneath the pillowcase in this case doesn't shift on you. So, but you can do that. All right, I am going to start with our green one here, and I'm going to take the little thing out of here, and I am going to put my ink mat in there. Now, I know I'm already going to get this question, where did you get these pillowcases? These are IKEA pillowcases that we get. I think they're called the Girly, and you really do need to be done. Can you grab it for one last time and then have her go outside or something? It's right there. Go in, or put the gate up.
I'll put the gate up.
She's going to kill us. Trip on us. Okay, so I am going to put my mat down, and I just want to get any wrinkles and bubbles out of there. So this is where the mat does come in nice if you have a stickiness on your mat. I take mine from the top here and just kind of shake it and start to get those ripples out of it. Now, these pillowcases are bigger than my mat, so just keep that in mind. So I'm just taking it in here. And also, if you have a lighter color pillowcase, be careful, because when these are folded, and I'll turn it over so you can see it, they'll get dust on them. And if you iron it with that dust, it sometimes sets in. You can see here where it's folded. This is dust here. So just double check everything. And what I'm doing is just making sure it is on there nice and secure. And this one, we are going to use this transfer. This is called the Cheerful, I think it's called Cheerful Christmas Tree Pattern. Now, if you have not used your transfer, a lot of you will say, do I have to fuzz it? And the answer is no, because it's going on a piece of cloth. Essentially, that's what you would be doing anyway. So I do not fuzz them.
Candice asks, can you back the front and the back of a pillow or shirt, and how would you do that? You can do that. You can do each one. You want to do one side first, make sure it's all heat set and done. Once you're done, then reverse it, put your thing back in, and do the next one.
Yeah. Now, because I'm putting these on pillowcases that are not the full size, we will have a border around us, and that's fine. I'm going to do Cheerful. Why am I marking the back, Sean?
This way, because these are not cut to square, they're not that square. When they're cut, this way you know how to put it back on, because if not, they're a little off.
Yes.
This way we know.
This way we know. So if you want it to go edge to edge and it's a bigger pillowcase, you can absolutely move your transfer around and do that. For me, I like a little bit of the edge to be blank anyways. And the reason why is your pillow, once you get it in here, it's going to have a little bit of a curvature to it. So a lot of that design is going to be hidden anyways. So, but if you're very picky and want it to be edge to edge, you can. But because I'm not doing edge to edge, we want to make sure it is in the center as much as possible.
Cardboard and pixie spray also works. Thank you,
Yes,
Sharon.
it does.
Nice idea. Are the inks sold separately or can you buy them in a set? Everything is sold separately.
Not everything, but...
Well, for inks and pastes.
Yeah. Well, there are
single.
try-me kits,
Yeah,
but
try-me
yeah,
kits.
there is no ink singles. I might need your help making sure it's centered because I'm not the best.
Oh, yeah.
Good?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Nice job.
So once it's centered, I'm just going to place it down, make sure there's no ripples or bubbles.
Another great question from Gannis. Can you layer with ink? Yes, you can. Absolutely. You have to make sure that there's a slight heat set between each layer. So you're going to heat set. You don't have to do a full heat set, but you want to at least heat set a little bit of it. And then you can go on to your next one.
Anything that you necessarily do with paste, you should be able to do with ink. Now, I'm going to open up my inks. And inks, very rarely do you need to add water. I'm not going to say you never have to, because that's definitely not the case. I'm going to be using Pesto and Meadow on here. So, and I like to use the lids just to, if I need it. I also like to have baby wipes available. And here is where your insurance policy comes in. So, you can see that I have a little bit of my pillowcase showing. And because a lot of this is really close to the edge, I like to just take some tape and tape it down. Now, this is not keeping your transfer in place. This is just if you accidentally go off your transfer, you have that insurance and you're like, oh, I didn't touch the pillow. I just touched the tape, so I'm not as worried. Especially when it comes into these little sides over here. Now, when doing this, you do want to be careful that your tape didn't accidentally create a bubble, because that can sometimes happen. Because as you put the tape on, it can sometimes make your transfer kind of go up. So you can either use the tape also to your benefit to make sure it doesn't shift by placing it kind of up at the top. And then I'm just going to make sure, once again, it is on there good. Now, I am just going to use this in random places. I'm going to try to hit the trees, different trees and stuff, but I'm not going to worry too much about, oops, this color, but I'll try my best to evenly distribute it. I tend to like using ink when it is kind of a one and done, but you can layer it. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. You can do hot mess, ombre, really anything that you would normally do with paste.
Yeah. And we did a lot of ombre, or a lot of hot mess with the Teresa Collins show.
Oh yeah, they loved it. I brought all of this stuff to do paste, and then Teresa last minute was like, hey, I think it'd be fun if we did t-shirts. And I was like, okay. And so we brought t-shirts and we did it hours upon hours upon hours, just t-shirt after t-shirt. It was so fun because then people were wearing their t-shirts and doing all sorts of stuff. All right, so now I'm going to grab my Pesto and hit areas that I didn't get with the Meadow.
Looking awesome already.
All right, so you're going to see I have areas where it is not hit, and that's okay. I did that on purpose because I'm going to remove my ink now and kind of use this to fill in any of these gaps. So you're going to see not a full-on hot mess, but a little bit of that ombre colors. And then any I can save without mixing, I will save with back into their paste jars, or their ink jars in this case. Everything okay, Sean, over there?
Yep, I was going to see if we can't play a little music in the background.
Oh, do you know how to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Or do you need me to do it, or you got it?
Nope, got it right here. Morning
Sweet.
light.
Okay, so now I'm going to remove any I can, which we'll start with. So anywhere I can hit it, get a little of this extra. Can you mute that?
Yep, sorry about that.
Thank you. I'm not going to worry about the meadow because I have a lot. And then I'm just taking this last one and making sure I don't have any what I call harsh lines. Okay, anywhere I missed, Sean, that you can
Yeah, I
see?
was just looking. Well, the only thing that's teal has nothing in it, so I think you got it all.
Okay.
It's just thick right there.
So we want to check our fingers, make sure there is no ink on our fingers. Okay, well, it's starting to dry, Sean,
Okay,
so I can't get that picky on it.
Okay.
And just be careful when even removing your ink, because it can come back and hit certain spots. And now you have ink where you didn't think you were going to have ink. All right, so before we reveal, we're going to check our fingers and our workspace, because I have ink some places and it will easily transfer different places. And then we are going to grab our detail tool to get a start. And the only thing I will say is be careful when lifting it up to not have it hit the pillowcase anywhere. And this is a new transfer I've never used, so it is a little bit more on the sticky side.
Which is great.
Okay, I need you to hold down the bottom part for me, please.
Ready?
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. You want me to pull the thing out so I can...
Yeah, just be real careful so it doesn't fold in on itself.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out the ink mat that's underneath, and what you're going to do, it is sticky. I'm going to just put my hand in here and slowly pull it all the way up. And like he says, you don't want it to fold in on itself because the ink is very wet. I'm just trying to get the stickiness off of it. So like that. And there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hairdryer just to get the moisture part off of this, and then we'll heat set it. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab.
Do you want to heat set it now or all of them at the end?
Oh, we can do them all at the end.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I'm going to turn that back off because we won't do that. So we're going to put this off to the side. And some people do. You may find some designers who will just let it sit for 24 hours and then go and do it. We've never really done it because we just want to get it done and get it over with. So you can let it sit for over 24 hours and then heat set it. It's not a big deal. That's why I kind of like to use the hair dryer. By doing that, it kind of takes some of that surface moisture off. So when I do put the I just lost my train of thought. The
parchment paper.
Parchment paper. Thank you, parchment paper on top. It won't lift up the ink onto it. Not a big deal if it does, but it just kind of helps it from doing that. And somebody says, can you use an iron? Absolutely, you can. No steam. That's the biggest thing. Don't use steam. Make sure it's dry. I think a lot of people like to use...
Why don't you go test while you're talking so they don't just stare at it?
I think they like to use between cotton and polyester. What are the highest one? As long as it's hot, that's good. Just remember, on an iron, it's a smaller area, and these bigger ones will take a little longer.
I forgot to put my gate back. Cece,
come on.
Go with Daddy. Go with Daddy and get your ball.
Come on. Come on. Yeah. Go.
She turns into, seriously, Crazyville. And then we have to put a little gate up because if not, you'll start hearing our whine. All right, so we will use these colors again. So I'm going to leave them out. Put them off to the side. I'm going to grab my next colors. And there she goes. She can't come back here, so she's whining. We're going to start with this color. We can go back down to this camera. Okay. So, once again, this is an IKEA pillowcase. I'm going to remove that. And we're going to input this. So, you always want to go from the top down, because if not, you'll get a ripple at the top. That's hard to get. So, we want to make sure we get any those ripples and stuff. And now, if you are going to layer, you want to make sure you heat set in between each layer.
Yes. And if you want to hair dry with the thing that's still, with the ink mat, you can. It's not hot enough to ruin it, but never, never, never use iron or anything with your ink mat in there because it will melt it.
All right, so this one, we are gonna have to pull it because we have this bottom part that I want to do. So I'm gonna have to do these other three. So because of that,
Ooh, brand new.
Oh, cool. Because of that, we just want to dry it in between, and we might have to clean this. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. So I'm going to start at the top. And
I'm going to, just because I opened this brand new one, I scraped it across, but it leaves a little bit on the edges. I just want to clean that up with a baby wipe real quick so it doesn't get everywhere.
it's so funny because when people join, I always find them like to have like a middle ground of either people are obsessed with ink or they're scared of it. Is this side higher than the other side? It looks like it
does,
is.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
About there?
It needs to come this way.
What way?
My way, just a little bit. Right there.
This way doesn't mean a lot.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so a lot of times people will say, oh, I don't use what'd you do with my purple tape? There it is. Yes. You put it right over here. So, some people won't use the purple tape or tape in general to give them insurance. And the few times that I'm like, I don't need it, I get stressed because I end up needing it. And because ink is so permanent, we'll probably end up drying this and then cleaning the transfer and then doing this bottom portion. So, because this isn't a full pattern, but I still want it. So be careful what Sean just did here. So this is exactly what I was saying on a tip. So sometimes your tape will create stuff like this, and you want to be extremely careful because ink is a little bit harder if you have bubbles to fix them. So when you're doing the tape, that's why I don't push real hard down on there, because see how it created a bubble all along there? So I appreciate the help, Sean.
Sorry about that.
But you just want to lightly put it on there not to create those bubbles. So I'll just put it on and just very gently tap it and not worry about doing a full-on push down.
Mm-hmm. We have a question that says, does ink ever dry up in a jar like paste? I think if it was left unintentionally completely open, it probably will over time, but as long as there's a lid over it, no.
Yeah, I haven't had it ever happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. All right, so same thing. I'm going to be intentional where I put this, but if it accidentally goes into the next one, that's okay because we can just give it that look of it hitting everywhere. But I'm going to try to do it in rows. So this is the Couture Coral, not teal.
Like I said.
And I do put it on pretty thick in the beginning. Why is that, Shawnee?
Kind of like paste, you want it starts drying obviously, but it does take a little longer to dry than paste. But when you need a little extra time, having it thick, the drying is affecting it on the top, not the bottom. It stays a little more wet for a longer period of time. As you can see in some of the comments, a lot of people love to do their inks on t-shirts, sweatshirts, nightgowns, aprons. It's just a lot of fun.
I think ink is fun. It's I think people are intimidated because it's permanent. And I think just the steps, like you need to heat set it. You have to maybe tape it. You
have to be a little more cautious sometimes.
Yeah. You know, so there's more steps where paste, literally, people are always like, oh, worst case scenario, if you mess it up, just take water and wash it off.
Yep.
But in my opinion, you have more time to work with ink. It's a little bit more forgiving in ways because you do have more time to work with it. But I get it. People are intimidated by it. So we're going to try to show it more. So I'm picking up a little bit of that pink, and that's okay. Because we kind of want that. And we're going to end up doing that anyways towards the end. So if we pick up a little bit now, no big deal. And then when I lift this up, Sean will dry it with the plastic still in it because we're not ready to heat set it, but we do need to dry it because we are going to bring in another, we're going to bring in the same design below.
Mm-hmm. Giselle asks, how much pressure are you applying when you're putting this on?
So I am a heavy, what I call a heavy chalker, which means I usually apply a lot of pressure. I'm a little bit more cautious on ink because more pressure can sometimes squish your ink under the transfer. And I don't know a better way to explain that besides just that. You want to be careful because pressure sometimes will equal it
going too far or seeping or bleeding.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this and remove as much of it as I can and save it. And I know you're gonna have a heart attack for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, you have Couture Coral now in your current jam. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's so minimal, it's going to mix in just fine. Now, if that was white, we might have a little bit of a problem. Okay, so checking my fingers, I'm gonna first remove the tape all the way around. Now, Sean's helping because he is here. This is definitely something that's doable by yourself. You don't necessarily need the help. It's just being very, very cautious of your fingers, making sure clean, clean, clean. And then I'm gonna go wash this and he's gonna dry. Oh, that looks amazing.
I'm gonna show you how easy it is to wash that off when we're at the sink, so we'll show you that real quick. It's just the same, if not easier.
And
So
then
I'm
when
gonna
you change the camera.
Yep. So I'm gonna move this way while he gets the transfer nice and dry.
So I'm just grabbing the transfer. You can see I'm doing it right out of the sink. It's pretty wet. And if you do not have a tabletop you can do this on, this is where our self-healing cutting mat comes into play. And I'm gonna squeegee out the water.
Somebody was asking, is it best to apply in one direction or back and forth to avoid bleeding?
I don't necessarily know the answer to that. I don't think it makes a huge difference, but maybe other people can speak to their experience. My biggest thing I would say on bleeding is the fabric itself. Is it a thicker fabric? Or are you talking about the bleeding underneath the transfer?
I think bleeding under the transfer.
Oh, in my opinion, the thing on that is going to be your bubbles and how sticky your transfer was. That's why I don't fuzz my transfers, because I do want it to be on the sticky side. Okay, we're gonna lift this up. We're gonna dry, and then I'm gonna put it sticky side up this time. Take my fuzzing cloth, literally put it like this. And then I'm gonna grab, if you have another fuzzing cloth, grab it and almost make kind of a sandwich. And just leave it there for a sec. I'm gonna clean out my ink. You can go up, Tess, for a quick sec. Any other questions?
Yeah, Giselle asked, do you ever add water to make the ink a bit more runny?
I do not, because
No,
it would go underneath my screen, because I'm a heavy chalker.
Yeah, you should never have to add water to ink. Not to say you have to, but you don't need to.
Well, I think you said that wrong.
Yeah,
You may have to eventually add ink, but it's very rare, and you don't want it thin. It's already pretty, compared to ink, chalk paste, it's already pretty thin.
I think there was another question if I can get my... Hardy Frog says, does the ink ever stain the stencil?
Nope.
Do you use soap?
Nope.
Nope. Just water, running water.
Paste, I shouldn't say nope. Black ink and red ink, if anything, those would be the ones that stain our transfers. But very rarely, if you use our board erasers and running warm water, usually with our board erasers, any stains will come off.
Yeah. And even if the transfer itself stains, it's not going to ruin your transfer whatsoever. It's just discolored. No big deal. The biggest thing is to make sure there is nothing in the silk screen part of the transfer. Just want to make sure it is completely clean.
Okay. So let's bring our
pillowcase back.
And I am going to just follow this pattern down. So I'm going to line it up with this one as best as I can. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks really nice. And as you notice, he's not going to press up above because there's no reason to, because he's not going to ink that area. What about shimmers? Do you need to add water? Sometimes you might have to. They keep their consistency pretty good due to the stuff they put in it. But every once in a while you may have to. If you don't wipe the ink off the ink mat, what keeps it from getting on the material?
So the ink mat will naturally dry. The ink on it will dry. So very rarely is it going to get on the material unless you're doing it back to back. But it would be the inside of it, not on the outside.
Yeah. Is there any way to add glitter to inks?
Well, if you don't wash it, but if you add glitter to the ink, it will just come out in the wash.
Yeah. The shimmers already have.
And the shimmer inks are super... I think they stand out more than our paste. Our paste stands out good, but I think it's even more so on our inks.
Mm-hmm. looking awesome. So you can almost see the little bit of the ombre effect almost from that light, even though it's so light in each one. Priscilla says, when I clean my transfers in the sink, it loses some of its stickiness. Shouldn't lose any of your stickiness, especially with the new transfers. They actually get more sticky once you wash them.
Tell me, how are you drying? Are you just letting them air dry, sticky side up? If you are, it could be particles in your air attaching. That's why I know a lot of people say, oh, I just leave mine out for a day to dry. I never do that. I grab my fuzzing cloth and I dry every single transfer and get its backing on there, because I've had it where I've left it out over a night and those particles, dog hair, all sorts of stuff settle on it.
Yep.
So that's my thing, but because I've had it where it's unfortunately gotten to the point where I've lost stickiness because I let them set out overnight.
Yeah, this pattern, I think they said they're got it from some type of a one of the Scandinavian countries, I believe. I was hearing somebody say that, how they kind of came up with this.
Whether that's true or not,
I think that's true. We don't know. Sometimes their inspirations come from who knows where. Hello, Maya.
Okay, so check your fingers.
Gorgeous.
Okay, you can dry and then take it out and
Yep.
we'll go on to our next.
I'm just going to give it a little dry here. I'm going to go ahead and slowly unadhere the pillowcase and the ink mat from inside so I can pull it out. Because once again, we never want to heat press this with it in there. If not, you'll melt it. Linda said it's a Norwegian sweater pattern.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Some kind of Scandinavian country. You always want to make sure you don't have any of this flipped over, so I'm going to slowly pull this out, just holding the top. Since this pillowcase is much bigger than the mat, it comes up pretty easy. And voila, just like that.
Okay, so I'm going to take this into the other room, and then we're going to turn our attention to our last pillowcase.
Yes, yes.
And then we'll heat set these all in a row, but they're looking good.
Heidi says leaving a transfer out overnight and a cat walks on it and then it follows the cat all over the house.
Yeah. The other tips I was going to say is, number one, make sure you're washing with warm water, not hot. And also don't let it soak in the water too long, because that can also reduce your stickiness coming back. So, and I only use our board erasers. I do not use a washcloth. I do not use anything else. Just our board erasers.
Mm-hmm. She's back.
I know she's back. Hi, little girl. This is the only dog we've ever had. There is beds over there for her to sprawl out on, but nope. Here she is. Sorry, little girl. All right. So the last one is actually a Chalkology pillowcase, and I bleached it white. So you want to make sure your work area is very clean because any ink out will. So I'm just going to wipe it down and then dry it. So even though I bleached this, there's still some spots, but I think, which side do you think's better? That one?
This one, yeah.
Okay. And this one has the zipper, so we'll do this. And this one is essentially a perfect fit. So, and our pillowcases, the Chalkology pillowcases, they're a heavier canvas than the IKEA. So I never worry about it too much about bleed through, but it's still nice to have it. But it is a perfect fit, as you can see.
Yeah. So you have to take a little extra care in pulling it out, but it does work.
You know what? I'm gonna grab my other one because that's gonna create too much of a headache for me. Sorry, Shani. So I'm gonna grab our other size, which is this. Once again, these are so thick, I'm not worried too much about it seeping through, but because I just don't think that other one's gonna fit in there.
And if you want, you can cut these in half if you have a couple of them.
But what do you think?
Yeah.
Just use that?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this off to the side. We are using a couple different transfers. We're using the Warm Winter Wishes from this one. So we'll grab that out. And my transfer trimmers, because we just need this part. Do you like those trees better, or because I thought those matched those better than this to that? What do you think? Or do you like these trees better?
I mean, I love these trees, but if you want to do more of a match,
No, you think these trees? You got it. I love it. I was on the fence, so.
I really love this look.
All right, so we're gonna start with the phrase because it's gonna go smack dab in the middle. So it's really important I get that one. And grab my marker. Warm winter wish. Okay, give that to you. All right, so I'm gonna try to get this in the center as much as possible. What do you think?
Looks awesome.
Okay, so want to check to make sure that's in the center for me?
Just come this way, probably in about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Oh, that looks better. Yep. Nice.
Okay.
Yes, this is a Couture pillow because you can see the word Couture right there.
So this one I will use extra care because it is white. I mean, any of them would have, you know, you can contaminate it, but white is definitely, you want to pay close attention. And we're going to use, I grabbed the white thinking it was a white pillow, but I'm actually using black for the sentiment.
Beth says that phrase would look cute with mittens and a cocoa mug.
Oh, it would. There is something about our black ink, and it has a smell, and I love it.
I have to smell up close if I need to smell anything. My sniffer doesn't work too well. It can be a good thing and a bad thing, but it does not affect my taste. We're going to have to heat press this one, aren't we?
Yeah, probably, because I'm going to do the trees on each side.
Yep.
So it'd be better. I don't know if we would need to, but to be on the safe side, we should.
Yeah, so I know somebody asked briefly, I'm not sure who it was, if we're going to layer. We are going to layer this one because the tree is going to be laying a little bit over this, so you'll kind of see what we're going to do with that.
It won't lay over it, but the transfer will, and so it might accidentally touch it. Check your fingers. Good to go. Grab.
Nice.
Perfect. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. There goes
You want to grab those transfer or the squeegees?
Yeah, squeegees fell. No, you can't come in there. No, girl. Stay behind the gate.
You might want to turn on your heat press too.
Okay. All right, I'm back. All the squeegees though. What we got?
Okie dokie. CC. Okay, so as the heat, or the easy press, I guess in this case, heats up, I do have a little bit of the wishes that kind of broke up on me. And that can happen either I didn't push hard enough or I let it dry too quick. Just like paste, you can grab a marker or a paintbrush and just very gently put some ink where it didn't connect. Now, a couple things is it doesn't take a lot, and you want to almost dab it, because if you do brush marks, it can get those fibers and you can accidentally pick up a fiber, and then that fiber will drag along it.
You also want to make sure it's not thick, because if you press it, it may squish it. Christine says, the black ink always bleeds on me. I never use it. Any tips?
Black bleeds usually because it's too thin, and it's because you're pushing too hard. Yeah. So a lot of times, the reason why I didn't have that connection down there is I am a heavy-handed charcuterie, meaning I always push hard, and because of that, you'll see a lot of times my black will bleed. Now, in the winter, they made it kind of look already distressed, so, but even that, I still have a little bit of parts missed over here, and with it being distressed, you wouldn't necessarily have to fix that, but we might as well since our press is. So be careful when you're doing this, because you don't want to go and touch the wishes part below. All right, so Sean's gonna take out this, and I'm gonna grab him a piece of parchment paper, and that's what we use.
Thank you.
Here's this way. Cece. Sierra, come here. Let's go potty. Come on, let's go potty.
All right. 305 degrees is what we typically use for this. Should fit all on one big one because we've got the large one. And the nice thing about this parchment paper, it glides so effortlessly over this. So I'm doing it for the 30 seconds, just slowly moving it around. You have to be careful not to go too long with the with these because you can accidentally burn your fabric. So that's why we're just doing it in 30 seconds.
And we don't have to do it too long because we're going to end up heat setting it again anyways.
This is probably a good set here.
And you do want to flip it over, and that's why.
So now if I hair dried it first for a little bit and got some of that moisture out, some of that would not come off. And what's going to happen is that this will just ball up on this side, and then you can just brush it away.
All right. I'm going to go dump our water because it's full, and I don't want to get ink anywhere. You want to put the mat back in?
Yep. So this is just set. I would set it probably a little longer, but it's enough for what we're doing. I'll put it more on this side since we're going to probably be doing that side. All right. Denise, like I said, sometimes I'll do if we have a little time, I'll do the hairdryer first just to get the moisture off of it and then put it on, but you don't have to. Some people like to let it sit for 24 hours too, so.
All right, so let's do our trees. Grab this mat. And I am going to try to lift it up right away. And you can even see here, was that there before or is that from burning it?
I think that might be from it. We weren't on that one.
That's how easy it is to burn this stuff.
You may not see it. I don't know. It's just barely there, but it's there. There.
Mm-hmm. Of course it is. How's that look?
Looks beautiful. Christine, we actually bleached this in bleach water for about an hour or so.
And that's partly why it burns so easy.
Now you can bleach these any color you want. Just get some of that RIT dye and let it sit. Just greens?
Yeah, and then I'm going to do pink over there and then green and pink.
Okay.
And because I'm switching colors, I am going to have to wash these in between. So because of that, we can semi-dry it.
Are you going to be overlapping any of these?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Why?
I was just wondering if so, I could do a heat set.
You could heat set if you want.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't do a quick one or...
Yeah, I'll just do
I mean, at least this side.
yeah.
I'll wash this one, then we can do the tall tree on the other side, and then, yeah.
I'll do it like a 15 second one or so. Just enough to get it. Alright, so I'm going to do this. Somebody asked if you could use Teflon sheeting. A lot of the thing about Teflon sheeting is that it may work, but it may cut down on the heat, so you may have to go up in the heat. Never used one.
What I was gonna say is you could wait until the other side of the tree, but if you've already taken it out.
I can just push it up. Are you doing the other side now?
I was going to, but I mean, you might as well heat set it. I just don't want you to burn it.
I'm just doing it really quick.
Okay.
A quick style one. That's all I'm going to do, just enough to kind of get it in there. Now this will, because it was wet.
I don't know if we need to put the mat back in. What do you think? See, that's what I was thinking. You pulled it up, didn't you?
Pulled what up?
The ink.
Yeah, it's pulling some of it up.
Yeah.
So I let it dry a little more.
You're going to have to full heat set it, yep.
Yep.
And it might not be able to get fixed now that it's already attached. So that's why I was saying sometimes your quick heat set can't be a quick heat set because as you can see it pulls up with it. So I was saying we should wait till the end, but that's okay. We'll see if you can fix it. You didn't dry it, did you, with a hairdryer first? Always dry it with a hairdryer. Even if it's for a couple seconds, in my opinion, it really helps. Here, hold please. Thank you. There we go. All right, so have you move that real quick? And I am just going to go ahead and do the other side, and then we'll do a final set. You will have to set this side just because, but you could set these both at the same time is what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So I don't know if we're going to be able to fix that rippling because that's it actually pulling up that ink. And
kind of cool looking, actually.
So that's what I was going to say. It's kind of cool, but that means he's going to have to match it on this side. So you're going to have to do the same thing. The same mess up. So don't dry it. I'll put it on thick and then do basically the same thing that you did. So we can match it on both sides. So sometimes mistakes can lead to just that. Happy accidents. But then we're going to want to match that happy accident. Go for it, Mr. Sean.
Thank you.
Is that a clean one? I think it is.
Yes, it is. I brought two over. We're going to do the same, try to get the same effect on this one. It just grabbed and I went, oh my goodness.
You're struggling tonight. What are you trying to do, Sean?
I meant to put it down, but it grabbed.
And so now it's all off.
I don't know. I lifted up, if you can, this parchment paper. I haven't even set it yet. I haven't even set it.
I know, but you might as well set now because you're already contaminating it.
My cord grabbed onto the parchment paper.
Very good. There. There should be nothing in your way. Okay, go and lift it up and let's see. Perfect. So Wendy says, why didn't you put in your black mat for this one again this time? Because we're rushing and I don't think this is such a thick canvas. I don't think it's going to bleed through. So I'm taking a risk, essentially. Okay. There you go. It matches. Sweet. Okay, so we are going to heat set it now because then I'm going to do these smaller trees. So they are going to... Actually, you know what? I'll just do it off. They'll be off of it a little. So I'm going to do one of the medium size on one side and the small on the other side.
Okay.
So... hopefully it doesn't pick up our paste or our ink. It very rarely, I was going to say, is it going to go through? Okay, so we're going to grab this one on this side and that one on the other side. So, and if it goes off a little bit, we're okay with that. So we're going to have it come all the way down to here. Does that look pretty straight?
Mm-hmm, it did.
What do you think?
I like that.
Is it still pretty straight though?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And then we're going to do the same over here.
Wendy says, wow, that ombre. It does look pretty awesome, doesn't it?
And if it's not perfectly straight, they'll just be little trees that belong in Whoville. All right, I'm gonna let Sean wash that. I'm gonna clean my fingers and we're gonna turn our attention over here to the other tree, which will be our greens. We'll start with the nice meadow towards the top. Grab our pesto towards the bottom. All right, and then anywhere we have little spots that we want to fill in, grab a paintbrush before you heat set it. So I have a little bit in my current jam. So I'm just gonna take a paintbrush and hit that area, and then over here, not much, but enough for me to care. So it's enough to make it look like it's not supposed to be a distress. It actually looks like I missed it, so. And I'm gonna grab Couture Coral just a little bit so I can bring a little bit more Couture Coral down into here. All right, and just like that, we are ready to set. I'm gonna just put these lids on these pastes so Shawnee can set. Or I keep saying paste, they're inks. And then I'll bring in the other one. So we're doing a lot of setting here. We're gonna set 3 pillows right in a row. So what I'll do is I will get Sean ready of parchment paper, and he can walk you through kind of what he is doing. Let me get out of his way here.
All right, here we go. We're going to start on this side here. Move the other side real quick because we're going to get the same effect here from the other one, so it all looks the same. So by doing that, it gave it a little ripple effect. We'll try to get a tight shot after this is all done, but now that that's been done, put another fresh one on there. I'm going to try not to stay in one place too long because of the discoloring of the heat on these. Before I do that. And what we're looking for is the feeling like it's almost with it is part of the actual pillowcase. That gummy or that stickiness, it tells me that it's not quite done. Winter Wishes is basically done. The trees need just a little more time. I'm going to flip it because there is a little ink still in it. You bet. Don't worry, this is non-stick, so it can't stick to this. And what it basically does, it just it dries and then it just balls up and goes away. So no need to worry about it. Since the middle is done, I'm going to go more like this so I don't have to hit the center anymore because I don't want to overdo it. So one more on this side. One more on this side. Pull it up, check to see how it feels. See, all that ink just kind of just balled up and now it's all gone. doing the center, it looks like it was lipping over, so these two tips went over the edge a little bit, so they didn't get a lot of heat. So I'm going to put those up there. But they feel really nice. They're not gummy, but the tips are because they didn't get enough heat. That in just a moment. See how those came out. Yep, those are done. Okay, now we're going to get our next one.
Do you need another parchment, or are you good?
I have another one over here. So I'm going to get a fresh one, even though this one is pretty clean. I'm just going to make sure it's fresh and clean, that I do not contaminate it. So this one will take a little longer because it's so big. So this will be done in about four sections. Now I shouldn't get any effect on this because I did hair dry it, and plus it's been sitting for a little bit.
What do you want, little girl? What do you want?
She's already barking.
Cece, come here. We are not playing with this ball inside. There is no way.
What's wrong with it? Is it really gross? Sometimes she plays with these balls, and since we don't have any snow, we have mud and gross dirt and rain and ugh. All right, just one more rotation, then we'll check it and see how good it is, and then we'll do the bottom part, the bottom quarter of it. And
There you go,
one
little
more.
girl.
Now let's see how we did here. And see no ink whatsoever. I'm feeling it. Sometimes if you lift it off and you see a lot of steam, that's totally normal. Yeah, that feels really good. I don't feel any gumminess or anything, so it did really well. And we'll just do this bottom corner, this bottom fourth, and it should be all done. For a couple minutes. Muddy feet. The dogs are bringing in muddy feet. You need to go back outside.
Everywhere. Oh, these dogs and their muddy paws.
That's because it's wet and rainy.
Wet and rainy. Now I have muddy feet all over
It's
my
not rainy,
basement.
it's just mud. Thank
How's
goodness.
that one doing?
Really good.
Good. I'll get the next one.
Okay, as soon as this one's done, because that top part's already finished.
Yay!
So since there's so much, thank goodness my basement is 75% tile, so it's easy to clean up.
Well, because some lady got us a nice steam.
Yes, a lovely lady, Miss Hallie, that has got us
There
a
you go.
nice steamer.
Switch you out.
Okay.
I'll grab that one.
Okay, this one is done.
Careful, that's probably still wet.
Okay, sorry. Got it. Yeah, do I get it? It's wet.
All right. And then after this, we can show them all off together. There you go.
I need the little baby one.
Do you get some on your paw?
Just barely, yeah.
Gotta be careful when you're working with ink.
You gotta be careful. Hey Nancy, hope your live went well. Alright. It just glides over. Again, these, I put a little heat to this, and plus they've been sitting out for a little bit, so it shouldn't leave any ink behind. Yes, at least it's mud and not something stinky. You got that right, Heidi. It's happened before. Something gross they get on themselves.
Han used to love to just smell it and then roll all in it.
If it stunk, he'd want
He
to roll
wanted to
himself
be inside of it, which I was always like, what is wrong with this dog?
Okay, one more rotation. We'll check it. And then we'll do the lower lower fourth.
I think we should be okay. We can always heat set it later too. Okay, let's do the lower part. And we can heat set it later because this is like watching paint dry, peeps.
Yeah. And it will need just a little more because there's just a little bit of gumminess on it. And it's not much, just a little bit.
Yeah, these are, wait till you see them all together. I really think, once they're all together and you kind of see because at first, I know people are like, ooh, that's really bright colors for Christmas, but I like bright colors for that Christmas time. So, all right, let's go ahead and, so, we put these back in the drawer so we can get them all in here.
Yep.
Leave our heat brushes in case we do need to press it again. Oh yeah, that feels good. Okay, so let's start with this one. Let's go to this camera shot. So we zoom out a little. So we got that one. We got
Which is the pink and currant jam.
that one.
Or Couture.
And then to bring it all together, so imagine this all on a couch. Look at that. That's so cool. I love it. Oh, this is a perfect set. I don't know. Like, this would be so good on someone's couch. You got this one. We'll zoom in a little bit. It's bright, cheerful, hot pink with this nice couture coral, the nice currant jam. Then on this one, it's hard to see on screen, but you definitely have the darker pesto with the bright meadow.
Let me zoom in.
Look at that. Dark. And then to bring it all, tie it all together, you have this. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is probably my favorite set I've done all together. How fun is that? I love. It's always when I do ink, I'm always like, gosh, I forget how much I love ink. Because, I mean, I don't know. If you had to choose, this would be my favorite if I had to choose one. I don't know, because I just love the set together. It just all ties together. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
I think it does tie in together, having the different color. Because at first you were you thinking of doing all three white pillows?
No. I always wanted to do them all bright. So let's hold them up so you can see them in straight on. So we have the hot pink with the couture coral, currant jam.
And then the meadow and pesto
on a neon green.
Neon green.
And then let's.
And remember, these are from IKEA.
Ready?
Girly. Nope. Oops, sorry.
If you can hold it this way, I'll hold this. You hold that. 1, 2, 3. Teamwork makes the dream work. Look at it! Yay! All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed ink. I'd love to know what your favorite is. These will be up for auction this Sunday at noon if you want to win this as a set. And I have to say that Sean's little mistake turned out great. Let's zoom in here.
Yeah, let's do that.
It almost looks like it is a texture, his little mistake. Look at that. So when he lifted it, on this side too, you get this really cool texture to it that is almost like a shrub look. It looks like shrubs.
Mm-hmm. So
a nice little happy accident.
She says, why did the white one shrink so much? It's not. This is a Couture one.
Yes.
So it's a 17 by 17. And these are IKEA
20
girlies,
by 20.
And they're 20 by 20.
So yeah, these ones are a smaller pillow. Yeah. So I love it. I can't wait to see who wins it Sunday. I just love ink. And I know I don't show it off as much. Couple things to keep on mind with ink versus paste. I can't stress this enough. Ink is permanent. Take your time. check your hands, because I've done it where I haven't checked my hands and now I have a big glob of black. And you can try to find ways to fix it, but you're never going to get that beautiful smooth finish of your pillow. Number 2, be very careful on the material you choose. Why am I saying this? Because your ink mat, if you're getting something that's very fibrous, it's going to be full of that fiber on your ink mat. So keep that in mind. I've ruined an ink mat because of that. Also think of how thick things are for inside, and take your time. Use the tape around for that insurance policy. So if you accidentally go over, it's no big deal. Take your time cleaning your fingers. The biggest thing is, in my opinion, black and white are the colors that dry the fastest. So those are the ones I always have to work with the quickest. The other ones you get a little bit more time with. And you don't want to push too hard, but once again, if you don't push hard enough, you might have a skipping. So I always say, apply the same rule applies as with paste. If you're lifting up your transfer and you missed a spot, just put it back down, put a little bit more ink, then continue to lift it up.
Donna asks, how do you clean your ink mat?
I don't clean my ink mats. Nope. So you guys will see, well, they're in the other room. I do let the ink dry. So if it's a wet ink, I will take the hairdryer and go like that. Every once in a while, I'll put down a piece of parchment paper. I won't press it, but I'll take our hairdryer in a hot setting, because sometimes that ink will just adhere to the parchment paper. And then if worst case scenario, if there's big threads or anything, I'll just take a lint roller over all of it to get those loose threads and any ink. I used to, in the beginning, clean the ink mats with like Clorox wipes or baby wipes or something. But the thing to keep in mind, unlike a Cricut mat or a Silhouette mat, our mats don't have adhesive come back. So you can't just get it all wet and have that adhesive come back. It's just not designed that way. So when they released the ink mats in the very beginning, they said, if you use Clorox wipes and you use a rough amount on it, it will remove it. Also, all of our ink mat covers have a sticker on it that says, here it is.
Yeah, those 5 on there.
Oh, you have one. Perfect. Yeah. So it has one saying this side up. Oh yeah, this one will need a little more pressing down here. I rushed you a little too much, you're right. So there you guys are. So, and I use mine exactly like Nancy says. I use mine until it's time to buy another one. I have backups. And on smaller things, I'll be honest, like on a really small, like wine package or something, I do sometimes, like if Cricut's having a sale, Silhouette's having a sale, and they're like $4, I'll just buy their mats. And once again, I don't clean those either. I just junk them up and do it. In a pinch though, remember, you can always use a piece of cardboard. I just want to give you perspective on the fact that I don't clean my ink mats. We did, not exaggerating, over 100 shirts in probably a 3-hour period, and we never cleaned the ink mats in between them. Nope. And we had people that had very, 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 very thin shirts, and they were using bright couture coral, shimmer silver, black, white. So they were bright colors, and I never cleaned the ink mats.
Yeah, once that ink dries, it's dry. It's not going to transfer over.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Don't forget that art auction is this weekend, Sunday, on this channel, starting at noon until we are out of projects. We will be back tomorrow for another Couture project. Then we'll be taking Friday off. So join us tomorrow. We'll be in the process of changing out our back wall into Christmas, because it's now Christmas time. And if you have any questions, reach out to us. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.